Hello, welcome to the Executive Dialogue. I'm your host, Ezinne Azuna, and today we're coming to you all the way from Abuja, the office of the Honourable Minister for Transportation, Right Honourable Chibuike Rotimi Amaechi. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right. May I begin by congratulating you on the flagging off of the Eastern Rail and the deep seaport, Bonny Deep Seaport. So congratulations on it, sir.
Thank you.
And well, that would now inform my first question, because when you came into office, a lot of focus was on linking the rail to the ports. So we saw you link it to the seaports and now river ports and other parts. But a lot of people are also concerned that the inland ports are not as viable as, so what's the rationale behind linking the rail to the ports, and how much would this contribute to the economy?
Abba,
First,
that'll be asking me the question you should ask the Minister for Finance.
First, the economy of the maritime industry, then Nigeria as a whole.
No matter how much economy, what part of the economy is directly under the Minister of Finance, but I can answer as you proceed. First, let us agree that Nigeria is not a productive economy up to today, so there's nothing we're producing. Somebody saw over 200,000 what they call this containers being moved from a seaport out of India. If we can do that, I say in less than 6 months we can move with 30 million cargoes away from Lagos Airport, Lagos Seaport, as soon as we finish Lagos Kano. We finish Lagos to Ibadan. To ferry it, to move it by road, by train, will be the easiest thing. It's a matter of putting those cargoes on top of a wagon, and then the locomotive will move it to wherever we want it to move it to. Now, when you say, where the creation or the construction of a seaport, of the seaports will affect the inland port, how? Some people will receive their goods at the inland port. So some people will import directly from the inland port. So for instance, if you're in Ibadan, why do you want to import through Lagos? So you import through Ibadan inland dry port.
That would now mean we also have to involve customs at
Customs will
locations.
be at the inland dry port. So your goods will not be cleared at the seaport. Your goods will arrive, put on the train, come to the inland dry port where it will be cleared. So the inland dry port will be as busy as the seaports, even though the seaports will be busier. So there's nothing to worry about. There's
been this report of concerns by the United Nations and even UNCTAD, where Nigerian ports have been said not to be efficient, especially because of the turnaround time, infrastructure.
You have the report.
We have access to those reports.
I want to see the report. Because why I say that, there appears to be an improvement from what we met when we came.
Now I give an example. The amount of time a vessel spends at the quays when it arrives in Lagos is not the same it does, let's say, in the Netherlands port, Rotterdam port. So we have a situation where upon our investigations, we found out that at Rotterdam, at that port, you have about 8 cargo lifts, the forklifts that move the cargo from the vessel. But here at Lagos Port, we have about 4 alone.
But that will change as soon as we finish the Lekki Deep Seaport and the Bonny Deep Seaport. So you have more. First is that the people are refusing to go to the other ports because of insecurity. So we're dealing with the issue of insecurity.
But those ports are also dying. They are fast aging out.
They are aging out because nobody's using them. But that's not the issue. I also hear that by the time we leave office, we should be able to have constructed about a minimum of 2 deep seaports. One in Lekki, which will finish next year.
How sure are you, sir?
I'm sure of that. That I'm sure of. The one I'm not sure of is the Bonny Deep Seaport. The Bonny Deep Seaport we can commence construction, but I doubt that we'll finish before we go.
What of the Abakar Seaport?
I'm not the governor of those states. Those are the state ports. I'm looking at the federal ports. Okay. So if the Bonny Deep Seaport starts construction this year, the implication is that it will finish 2023. End of 2023. I hope it finishes by that
time. So if we hurry over this...
We're not hurrying. It's a 3-year contract.
Oh, okay.
Even
quality assurance was my concern.
We have people who have engineers who go to supervise them. What about if it fails? It's their business. You know why? It's their money. It's not federal government money. It's PPP. So you need to operate that seaport for about 30, 40 years.
Would MPA be landlord there too?
We'll be landlord at the handover, which will be next 30, 40 years. But they'll be royalties will be paid to them and all that. But they can only be landlord when the 30, 40 years has expired. So when you say quality assurance, it's their business. If in 30 years the port collapses, they will rebuild it.
At that time, they will be at the verge of handing it over to us. They will be at the verge.
If it's poorly done, in less than 10 years it will collapse. If it's poorly done. But any seaport that lasts for 20 to 30 years without collapsing, then it wasn't poorly done. And I hope that part of the agreement will be that by the time they are ready to hand over, they will have restored it, if not to the almost to the point of construction, but something close to that.
Okay. Tackling international maritime crimes is a concern for maritime communities all over the world. And we have groups like the Maritime Anti-Corruption Network, MACN, and recently there was a report where they talked about Nigeria as being weak in its enforcement of practice. That's within the maritime industry. And they talked about underdeveloped systems for investigating complaints and then grievances, and that we do not have a system that protects whistleblowers should they see anything that has to do with organized maritime crimes and speak. So I would like you to react.
I think that the best people to answer that question will be the management of MPA or the agencies. What we are focusing on in the ministry is first to get a seaport. Secondly, to get our waterways to be secure. When we achieve that, it is good you raise it, because we'll then ask MPA and IMASA what is their processes. Until you get the processes right, you won't get efficiency right, no matter how much we construct. Efficiency is essential in terms of procedures. So what we are doing there is that they're questioning a lot of procedural issues, which then again breed corruption. But they must sympathize with Nigeria in the sense that if you go to the seaport, you'll be ashamed. It's like a marketplace. People who have no business at the seaport are there, and all these are issues of security and all that. Let's first get it right.
Okay.
Let's hope that the next government will continue from where we stopped after construction, and ensure that the procedures are put in place in such a way that if you don't eliminate corruption, you will reduce corruption.
So where are we on the Deep Blue project? Because by now we expected that we won't be having statistics rising from the IMB, International Maritime Bureau. Unfortunately, that's the issue. So I would like you to clearly tell us where we are on that project. And for a while, sometimes late last year, there was a report on the $22.9 million for the hiring of fast-moving vessels.
Okay, the cabinet, the cabinet did not approve it. Why the cabinet did not approve it? The cabinet felt that we have enough vessels on ground, we have enough, despite the fact that we've not trained. I think what the cabinet is trying to do is to put us under pressure to train.
Okay.
So if you see now, people are already training on the aircraft, and they're in Portugal. Other set of people are training on the UAVs, I think Portugal too. Well, the one that will commence in the next 1 month will be the training on the boats. So everybody is in the water now. They have directed that we should go into the water. So we've launched, but we are not effective because of the fact that we have not been able to train people. We will conclude training before June. So you can ask these questions after June. June, July, August, we should begin to improve, because everybody will be in the water, Navy, Air Force, police, and all that.
There's a rumor that the Navy and Ministry of Defense want to take over the project.
No, they cannot.
Is it true?
It's not true too. Okay. But they can also not take over. They can run it for us. That's what the law says.
Have you also considered having coast guards along with what we're having?
No, that's too early. The Navy can continue to partner with us pending when we were able to get the law, the master law amended to include the coast guard.
All right, sir. The CVFF, the Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund, last year we were told it would be disbursed.
We've not finished with the process. You saw the advertisement by the DG. We've not finished the process. When we finish the process, it will be disbursed. So don't
you think the process, this due diligence process, takes
just
a long
Just ask a question
time
now about due diligence and transparency. One thing about we Nigerians is that where Where due diligence does not impact on us, and we're happy.
So we're expecting that about what time?
I don't have time. I'm not the DG Nimasa.
So Cabotage trade, are you impressed with how far we've gone?
No. But that's not a government thing. Government is not a business entity. It's you guys that are business entities that you talk about.
One of your initiatives when you came in immediately was to have the national fleet thing, and unfortunately
it was a wrong assumption. I assume that there are very rich Nigerians who go into business. Now, if you look at the law, no, because I even traveled out to Singapore on that. The law
PIL willing withdrew.
No, they didn't withdraw. It's more if you want, the foreign component is not a problem. The problem is the local component. That law was passed that 60% of investment in the national carrier will be Nigerians. Please name one Nigeria that can bring the money. We've gone around, we've gone to banks. Because if the law said partner with foreigners and didn't say percentage, then you can call PIL and say take 80 or take 95. Let's find 5% for Nigerians. And then by now we'll have had a national carrier. But the law specifically said 60% Nigerian, 40% foreigners.
So don't you think if we had cargo allocation, specified for, like let's even begin by carrying our own cargo.
We agree that if you're a businessman, I compel you to use our vessel.
If there is cargo, there will be vessel.
You don't understand? I don't want to say that you understand English. I said, if you are a businessman, because the government is not into the business of importing. So you're a businessman now, we make a rule that, all businessmen must compulsorily give their cargo to Nigerian national carrier. Will you agree?
So we could try...
There's no law. You're breaching the Constitution.
The Constitution.
Of course.
Yeah.
Freedom of... Is there association or freedom? Maybe when I look at the law, I will be able to tell you what freedom you are breaching. Every man has the right to do his business. You don't have to because your government to compel anybody. So when you say cargo, it must be, the man must see the benefits that he derives from that's your decision. If not, he will go to court, and I'm sure he will win.
Let me quickly go to maritime education, because a few weeks ago you were at Toron and you were there and you were very impressed, But when I raised the question about checking private institutions, you said you would look into it. I would like to know if that has happened.
I'm not a magician. That was about
so
3 or 4 weeks ago.
let me finish the question,
yes.
please. And if you're considering a maritime training education board, as is obtainable in many other clients, that harmonizes the process.
No, I don't think that.
And regulates and enforces.
Think those who do maritime education will be happy with me. I don't think they have the capacity to do it. Even we, government, where are the lecturers? Don't forget that the instruction I gave to Man Oron is please look for the faculty. Until there are teachers in the Nigerian maritime sector, nobody should establish all these private institutions because they are churning out half-qualified graduates. So for me, the University of Transportation in Daura should be able to take care of training.
Okay.
And if there's another university that does maritime training, fine. But all these institutions I'm hearing about, one in Warri, one in Port Harcourt, all scattered, I don't think they are. Well, let me not judge them. Let me not be conclusive in my discussion with you until we carry out an inspection, until experts go to investigate what they are doing. If what they are doing will not meet international standards, we must stop them.
You pushed for the regional maritime bank for Central and West Africa. How far have we gone on that?
Well, 8 countries have signed in. 8 countries have held a board meeting, and they're moving on.
What's expected from our stakeholders once that comes?
We'll make our contributions. That's the federal government. I don't know about you people, the non-federal, non-state actors. For non-state actors, it just enables you borrow money to do maritime business. Okay, so it's not maritime. The TV is not inclusive in the maritime.
No, we're specialized, sir.
How?
It's maritime TV.
So you can borrow money there.
We can borrow money.
I'll be shocked if they give you.
Why not, sir?
Because I don't see what makes you.
Okay, you're saying this.
Yes, I don't see.
That we are of no value.
And I did say that.
That's the implication
No.
of
You
what.
you can be a bicycle rider and be of value to maritime.
Oh my word.
You can be true. Those who even secure the maritime environment are also of value to maritime. But the question is, the core maritime business is not what you do.
Okay, so
You agree to that?
would look at expanding. We'll become ship owners.
Exactly. That's where that's when you can borrow the money.
Okay. Incentives and tax holidays for ship owners is something that had recorded, and the review of the import arrangement for ships in the country had also been mentioned. And I know we've talked about trade terms. All these things, really, the shipping industry, the shipbuilding industry may not be able to move forward as expected if not handled.
No,
So kindly let us into...
The first thing you must agree with us is that we cannot do everything at the same time the way you want us to do it.
So this is the 7th year, right?
This is our 6th year. I want to chase us out. Want to chase us out. But even if it's 7 to 8 years, we can. If we do everything, then there'll be no need for the maritime department because we've solved all the problems.
So what is your focus?
First, I've told Nigerians we don't have a seaport, we have river ports. I've had that argument with the Minister for Works. Say, oh, that the Lagos one is a sea. I said, no, it is of the ocean.
Yeah.
And I don't know why we continue to argue about that. That unlike Lekki,
Yes.
okay, so it's not deep enough. What are we trying to do? Provide, because the technology has moved on. It has left us.
And we don't want to keep spending money on dredging.
Exactly. So it has left us from the point where 6 to 10 meter draft. Now we're talking about 16, 18.
That's
so
true, sir.
What the government is doing is to meet the technological development by building these 3 new seaports. Okay. One at Lekki, it has commenced. I've been there. I've visited it recently. 2 at Bonny. It's not taken off yet, but we've done the groundbreaking. And all these are investments by different companies. So the second company is CCCC. The first company in Lekki is China Harbour Engineering Company also. Then CCCC is for Bonny. And CRCCI is for Warri. And they're all PPP. So if we achieve that, then you're sure that, because what they currently do here is that every day I sign documents to allow you to do transshipment on the high sea. All that will change.
But sir, if you achieve that and we do not have ships in this country, we can't be called maritime nation.
No, for Christ's sake. The Nigerian government cannot buy you ship now. Why?
People are willing to buy.
One day you ask the Nigerian government to make babies.
It's about creating the enabling environment.
Okay, we'll create the enabling environment to the extent that do you know how much it costs to build a seaport? Do you know how much it costs to build even the railway? The railway costs trillions of naira, trillions.
Honourable Minister, if we do not do the trade terms, the incentives, let's take one.
Listen,
can we do one?
Government is continuous. Government is focusing on constructing new seaports. Okay. Discipline the process. For transparency, so that vessels can come in at the right time, and securing our waterways. Okay. If government achieves these 3 objectives, the next government can continue. I've told you that governments, they continue. We can't finish everything. If we finish everything, then no need to appoint a new minister for transportation.
So you were everywhere when you talked about the inland waterways, and you were quoted as saying it's not viable and it's a waste of funds.
Till tomorrow. If you want, I'll give you to go and do it. I've spoken to Sayudan Tata. He's coming with documents. Has he come to today? The Chinese came. They want to take it over. They did studies. They came back. They ran away. So if you want to take over, please come.
Why do you think it's a waste of funds?
The draft of the water is extremely low. They are silting every day.
Agreed.
Okay. So if you desilt, say Onitsha, for instance, by the time you get to Baru and come back, Onitsha has silted back. The cost of operation, the cost of doing business with the inland waterways is more expensive than railway.
But so when you weigh that with the potential, as in, for instance, if we had very viable ferry operations, if we have the badge...
Are you not doing ferry operation in Lagos?
We are,
How
but
viable is it? How viable is it?
well, it's really picking up, sir.
I'm the Minister for Transport, not you.
So it's picking up in the sense that we have more
the way
vessels.
to know if it is viable is to look at what the NIWA turns in at the end of the month. I have told NIWA consistently, take yourself out of the national budget. Today they can't. To take yourself out of the national budget is to pursue projects that are viable, that brings in money to the this. Tomorrow they can't. The other place they're making money is giving out license to operators of boat and people who want to build terminals.
So are you proposing we shut down?
No, I didn't say that. You'll be shutting down the country. You can't do that. But
So how do we manage it? Because it's there.
First, we need to do a study of how to get the draft to increase.
Okay.
And that is being done at Ministry of Water.
Okay.
When Ministry of Water concludes that, whether it is in our government or not, then that's when government will know whether it is viable or not. For now, it is not viable. I pass through Onitsha. I look at River Niger all the time. You can walk across. You don't need bridge.
Okay, no. You can't. Yes, I agree that siltation occurs there.
I say you can walk across. If you bet money, $13,000 now, I will
Let's
take
go.
you. I will take you to River Niger. If we don't walk across, I give you my $10,000. You've forgotten that we launched this in the Kogi. If you went with us when we launched the
Also,
dredging.
we can at least, even if it were ferry operations, just those little to keep the communities around there viable. Because
you're like
if you also
you're like
look
my fellow
at
Nigerians
it,
who think that
if you also look at
railway
it
is for passengers. So,
if you look at it from the security perspective,
Isn't will ask me, why haven't you taken railway to my village? We can't do that. We simply can't do that. It does not make any business sense. If you need to take cargoes to Onitsha,
so I'm not a railway reporter, but people would ask you, why did you do it to Chad?
To what? It's not. You see, that's the point. We have this sharing spirit. So if I sit here and take a strategic economic decision that what conveys cargoes fastly and better and cheaper that grows the economy is railway, so I'm going to fund railway. What about me now? Give me money for inland waterways. Then somebody comes again and says, why not you build a seaport in my village? Like the Minister for Transport, maybe we need to take inland waterways to be.
So we hope that the study for NIWA or the inland waterways actually comes out quick, because
I can give you a copy of the study by check. It's check that wanted to take over the inland waterways. When they brought out the study, we will invest 1.2 trillion, and they say federal government should bring 600 billion, and they will bring 600 billion if we must do it. Okay. Secondly, they told us clearly it was not viable. So why would they have to bring 600 billion for a business like that?
So how does the inland waterway operations in other countries thrive? And here,
they thrive because it is not silted.
Okay.
If the draft is about 6 meters to 10, they can do business.
But we can do.
But this one is, you're moving on the River Niger to a point, you just see sand, no water. What do the boat do? You come down, carry the boat on your head, cross water.
So, well, I'm sure I'm not a technical person, but the things churning out in my mind.
If you pay me, I can put you in a helicopter and we fly from River Niger.
So why would I pay you? You should be the one taking us on a tour.
What am I going to take on a tour of something you already know?
No, I don't know it. I don't know it because
I'm not interested in your knowing.
My
thought
is that we can actually chat inland waterways.
Let me ask you a question. The question I asked, sources of the river ports. Why has the river port in Onitsha not taken off?
But it's about taking off.
It's about
at least the barge operations. The barge operations.
10 years after.
So is it not the same thing that happened when we hadn't concessioned our ports, for example?
It's not true. Our ports were still functioning, whether concessioned or not.
Sir, I was in the industry at that time.
Well, you were in the industry at that time. I wasn't in Biafra. and the Port Seaport is just right there in our territory. I'm from Ikwere, so I know about Port Seaport. It was just total chaos, anarchy, and indiscipline. So it was the management of the seaports were not efficient. So for Obasanjo, for it to be efficient, let private investors come. Are they also efficient? That's the question you need to ask. Are these private investors efficient? Have they complied with the agreement? Have they bought the equipment that they promised to buy?
You sound like you've lost interest in the maritime.
No, I've not. Why? Why?
First of all, you left a whole lot for us, and then you don't believe in the maritime industry. You seem not to believe in the maritime industry as much as you did
I do.
at the initial time.
I do, but the rent culture in the maritime industry is too much. There are too many people doing all sorts of crime, money stolen here and there, all sorts of things going on in the maritime industry. When I fight, they fight back. And I don't want to be injured. I don't want this. So what I do is, let's finish with the railway while still from time to time supervising the maritime industry. Look, did you see the fight on OMSL?
The SSA.
A company sits down, collects $2,500 per day from a vessel that lands there, then subsequently $1,500, and detain the vessel for 30 days. So they pay $45,000 per vessel per month. And then transfer that. What the cost is built into the cargo. The cargo will charge you. So if you buy toothpick in Nigeria, you buy at 10 naira. In Ghana, you buy at 5 naira, because some few individuals have trapped the process.
But sir, don't you think?
When you interview me, stop interviewing me. Look at those investors in the waterway, whether illegal or legal, what they are benefiting from that.
Sir, don't you think the problem is actually legitimizing the process in the...
What process? It is not the responsibility of anybody to provide security in the water.
Yes, but someone allowed it because we do not entrench the law.
They allowed it, and I said, no. The federal government has decided that right now we will do it ourselves. So we have bought the equipment, see the people that will manage it, say, no, I must continue. You people should not bring down this equipment. What kind of country is that?
Yes, so my question is, having experienced that, what is the ministry doing to ensure that such a thing doesn't recur?
We are fighting every day. You don't sit here, because as you introduce one policy, they've come out with their weapons. Didn't their weapons? Oh, the Minister of Transport is corrupt. He's introducing his business. The EFCC will start investigating you. And FIU. Unfortunately for them, I have no bank account. Don't. A bank account I have is a salary account.
Lastly, I'd like you to tell us what your dream maritime industry is.
I doubt if you can attain it. I doubt.
Just tell us. Let's even know that. If
you saw the enthusiasm with which I came into the maritime
industry.
industry.
That's why I said you seem to have abandoned us.
I have not abandoned it, but just as it's, the activities in the maritime industry is despicable. My attention, what did I plan to do? Get a national carrier, convert those seaports into proper seaports by rehabilitating them and ensuring that all the infrastructure that you need to put there to make these things work are put in place. Have I achieved them? No. Get the ports to be efficient. Get the waterways to be secured. Have I achieved them? No. It's a bit embarrassing. So focus on what is easier to achieve. Because so many Nigerians who don't have business in the maritime sector are there because of the I'm trying hard to choose my words. Because there are also honest Nigerians who are there doing business. But there are so many other Nigerians who are dishonest, and they are there. Once you fight, you know, this OMSL contract, remove the minister from here. Oh, you can't remember that I was the minister removed by Obasanjo. Oh. Don't forget that time, government bought all these equipment.
That's true.
And then they fought back from outside. In fact, I was threatened that I would be removed. This OMSL contract, they said they must remove me. They had reached so many persons. I was summoned to the National Assembly, put on national camera, everything. People forget. But you see, I don't mind that fight if Nigerians are coming along with me. But I don't see you. So I recall what a prominent Equatorial man said to Equatorial people. He said, if you hear the footsteps of an Equatorial man saying, go where with you, boom, 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 go, look back, maybe people running away from me. So when I look back, I saw that people were running away. I just said, let me run. Let me run.
I think it may just be a bit more communication with stakeholders.
I'm not going to assist you.
You've still not told us your dream.
I've told you. I said, I'm pushing the one of getting new seaports, and I thank the president for supporting us. So we have the Bonny Deep Seaport, which will certainly take off by God's grace this year for construction. Lekki Deep Seaport started how many years ago, and will be finished in 2022. So I'll be glad to take the president there to commission it. What again? I told you the security one. That's why I had to fight back to make sure we achieve that. And I'm sure that by June, July, we should be able to achieve that.
All right. Thank you very much for your time with us. That's about all we can take on this edition of the Executive Dialogue. I'm sure the Honourable Minister had thrown enough light on various issues plaguing the industry. Until we come your way again, I remain your host, Ezin Nazuna. Stay blessed.